How often do you guys come across a headline that immediately makes it clear to you how detached you are from, I don't know, the rest of the people on the planet? I came across one such headline just the other day. I have this really strong assumption that people who are buying these foldable devices, in particular devices like the Pixel Fold that are landscape foldables that to me cry out for dual screen, cry out for split screen of applications. I had this assumption that's why a lot of us were buying these devices. We were split screening. Maybe that's because I'm a Surface Duo person and Duo spoke to me in a deep way. And when I moved to a foldable, I continued attempting to use it as much like Duo as I could. I am a split screen. I am a multitasking person. I just assumed, maybe this is a theory of mind issue, that other people were doing the same thing as me. Until I saw this headline, which kind of broke my brain. Nearly half of Pixel Fold users use split screen mode. And this was actually something that Google cited around their I/O event. 47% of Pixel Fold users use split screen mode. And they put this out there in a sort of bragging way where they were like, hey, check this out. Half of Pixel Fold users are split screening. I see that number and I think, only half? It's not like 75%. Why is it only half? And I had to sit there and kind of start thinking through this stuff. So first off, the first question is, what percentage of normal phone users are split screening? And I feel like for me, I would assume that answer is very, very low because I never split screen on a normal slab style phone. It is a terrible experience to me. You have these two tiny little squares. It's absolutely useless for me. I know some of you do it, but I imagine very few people do it. So maybe that's what they're thinking, right? So it's like 2% of people do it here, and hey, half of people do it here. That's a really big increase, but it still seems like such a low number to me. But I think there's actually even more nuance to this. If I go further and I think about devices like the OnePlus Open or devices like the Z Fold, phones that are foldables that, are obviously tablet devices, but devices that open up into a form factor that is taller than it is wide. I've told you guys on a few different occasions, I find myself split screening far less on these devices. I don't know exactly why that is. Something about the aspect ratio, something about being taller than it is wide means I end up multitasking less. I would love to know. We're at 47% here. What's the number here? What's the number on the Z Fold? My suspicion would be if it's 47% on the Pixel Fold, is it then lower on these devices? I would guess that it is based on my experience and also the comments I've gotten in return when I've talked about these things. And then that leads me into thinking about the rumored aspect ratio appearance of the Pixel Fold 2 or the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, as I truly hope that it is not actually going to be called, because they're switching to a taller than it is wide aspect ratio. And I believe, I would predict, that would indicate that the split screening prevalency would decrease with that move. So they're bragging about 47% of people split screening while they're about to switch to an aspect ratio that I think would reduce the level of split screening. Now, they actually talked about this in this little event here, increase user productivity with large screens and accessories. They talked about that number, and they also just kind of talked about the Pixel Fold in general. I believe there's a little bit of Pixel Fold stuff there. They're talking about how apps can have the dual panel layout, and then they talk about split screening and things like that later on. And of course, we know that they are doing things to improve productivity on larger screens. They're giving us app pairs. Finally, of course, they're continuing to work on that taskbar. They're continuing to tweak that, maybe allowing it to be pinned natively like what we can see on OnePlus Open and Z Fold devices. So we know that they are taking this at least relatively seriously, and that's definitely a good thing. I just have to come back to this with large screens and accessories, and then I pair that with, again, the rumors of what the Pixel Fold 2 is going to look like, and it makes me wonder if maybe they don't quite understand that it's not just the size of the screen that matters. I'm sure they've thought about this, right? Like, they're not stupid. They're not like, hey, screen that's like this, screen that's like this, there's no difference. Of course, they understand that there's a difference, but I just wonder how much of a difference do they understand that there is? How much does it actually affect the way that people use the device? I don't have data on this, so I can't say for sure one way or the other, but it's my intuition and it's based on conversations I've had with you guys. I think it makes a really big difference, and I would love to be a fly on the wall in these conversations to truly know, does Google understand that by switching to a taller than it is wide, a portrait aspect ratio with the Pixel Fold 2, do they truly understand that they're going to reduce their productivity? As far as I'm aware of, as far as I'm able to tell, they're going to reduce that split screening that they're touting in this video. Am I crazy? Am I making this up? Am I fully detached from reality with my opinions on this? Let me know in the comments down below, because frankly, I don't know. That initial stat blew my mind. So it's possible that I'm just flatly wrong in all of my assumptions, but I do feel like at least a lot of you have told me that I'm not wrong about the fact that, hey, I split screen a ton on Surface Duo, I split screen less on the Pixel Fold, and I split screen even less than that on portrait devices. But again, hit those comments and just kind of tell me what you think about this. Was this shocking to you? Does this, what I'm saying, make sense to you? Hit those comments down below, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.